I'm Connie Henriquez Kimmel. I'm the creator and founder of Start Loving Life, the philosophy that teaches you how to be happier, more confident, and in love with your life. This is my new cable show, which is going to be on every Saturday at 9 p.m. I'm going to be giving you life tips, love tips, just simple tips that everyone needs to learn to help them start loving life. For more inspiration during the week, feel free to visit my website at startlovinglife.com, join my mailing list, or you can follow me on YouTube at Start Loving Life and watch all of my latest videos. Happy Saturday, guys! It's Connie Henriquez Kimmel here, and I am back to teach you how to start loving life. Welcome to this week's show. I'm excited that I am back. I took a couple of weeks off, so you may have noticed some reruns were on, but I'm sure you enjoyed them anyway. Anyway, it's been very busy. We just celebrated my sister's birthday, Natalie. If you know Natalie, she's like 2 years older than me. We're like super close. And I have a book coming out in probably in the next 2 months, hopefully. But I talk about my sister a lot in that book because she actually taught me growing up what not to do and what to do. So she was very instrumental in my life. But anyway, I love her. And so my parents actually hosted a birthday party at their house in Islandia. And we had a fun time, and it was so fun. We had lots of great food, and we actually ended up doing karaoke. Now, I'm not a singer. Most people at the party aren't singers, except Natalie's husband, who's a death metal vocalist, or he was, Frank from Suffocation. He didn't really sing karaoke, but we had a blast. I have some pictures. I'm going to show you some quick video from Sunday's birthday party. And then, guys, if that was not enough, I had a very new experience, which I'm excited to share. And it's funny because, listen, there are things that are important to people as far as like material things. And there are certain things that people feel good about spending money on. And there's some things that people don't feel, it's worth it to spend money on. And that's what's so wonderful about life. And part of my Start Loving Life program that I teach, and part of one of the exercises that I teach in the program, is really becoming clear about things that you value and things that are important to you. So what kind of things actually make you happy? And so I know for women specifically, sometimes buying shoes is something that they love to do. Sometimes, decorating the house. Like, I love decorating my house. I love spending money on my house. Like, I just love that. I find great joy in it. Sometimes Jeff, my husband, is confused by my joy about it or my love for it, but that's just something I do. But the other thing I love to kind of treat myself is when it comes to pocketbooks, so handbags. So I'm a big handbag person. I definitely like functionality, where I like a bag that you could actually put a lot of stuff in, because I carry a lot of stuff. But just recently, I wanted to get another Chanel bag. So Chanel, the brand, is very, very kind of like special to me, because when I was younger and I first had my first real job in the beauty industry, I'm actually from the cosmetic industry. So before I was a life coach, or before Start Loving Life was even formed, I worked in the beauty industry, in cosmetics. And so the first real job I had was working for Chanel Cosmetics. So I actually worked as a beauty advisor, a makeup artist, behind the makeup counter at Macy's Smith Haven, and it was for Chanel. And it was such a great experience, and I love the brand, and it just meant so much to me, because it was the first time in my life where I was excited about being an adult and making money and making my own money and being focused on, developing a career in the beauty industry. And I just, just the history of Coco Chanel, who was the founder of Chanel, I found it very inspiring. So it's always been a very the brand has always held a very special place in my heart. And not even just because it's a cool brand and people love it and some people love it, but just because for me, it really is the foundation of kind of where Start Loving Life originated from, because that's when I really was, I guess I could say, adult enough to know and be excited about going after life in a big way. And that usually happens when you get out of school. But for me, that's what it was about. And Chanel, the brand, really inspired me to make a lot of money, to be able to afford Chanel bags, and really about fashion and cosmetics and just that whole thing. So funny enough, I wanted to get a pink Coco handle Chanel bag. I know this is like probably another language for you, but just bear with me. So this is a bag I really, really wanted. When it comes to pocketbooks, I'm really not a fan of the straps. Like I never wear a pocketbook over my shoulder. I very rarely do. So what I normally kind of always steer towards is the pocketbooks with a handle. Like I love having a handle. I hold it, in my hand, or I'll put it on my arm while I'm doing things or if I'm shopping. And so when I researched Chanel, that bag that would fit what I'm looking for a functional bag is the Coco handle, they call it. And so it has a cool handle. And so it's so lovely. And this is why I love Jeff, my husband, because he's so amazing. And this is what I want for your relationship too, because you want to attract a partner that really gets you, and not that they need to get you, but really supports you and loves what you love. And he doesn't have to love Chanel handbags, but he knew how important it was for me. And so the reason why timing was important is because Chanel only really releases pink handbags, which is my favorite color. They only release it for spring or summer and sometimes other seasons, but it's really super hard to get. And it's crazy because these bags the bags are expensive. So you say to yourself, wow, there are this many people wanting these bags that they fly off the shelves, where really you have to hope that the bag that you want becomes available in the boutique you're going to, and that they have more than one or two, and it has the color you want, the style you want. It really is it's a whole other experience that I learned. But anyway, so I have a Chanel advisor at the Chanel boutique on 57th Street who I love, Taisha. And I texted her and I said, hey, Taisha, she told me the spring line was coming in. She said pink is definitely going to be in there because I was at the Chanel boutique 2 weeks ago and they didn't have any pink that I was looking for, and they didn't have the Coco handle. So anyway, it's on a Saturday. Was it a Saturday? It was a Saturday, yes. Not this Saturday, last Saturday. That's why I didn't do a show. But so it was on a Saturday and I texted her. I'm like, hey, did you get the pink Coco handle in? Because the spring collection just came in. And she says, yes, I have it. Now, I was so excited because, again, I've been waiting for this bag and it's like the perfect color pink. So every season they do different color pinks, but this is like cotton candy, my favorite bubblegum pink. And so I saw, she sent me a picture. She's like, Con, this is the bag. And I was like, oh my God, I want it. Can you ship it to me? And she's like, well, Con, because it's a new spring collection, we don't ship. We can't ship for 3 weeks. So you have to come in person. So I'm like, oh man, I got to go in person. Meanwhile, at this point, Jeff's at tennis on Saturday and we already had our day planned. We were really good. Like we were working on my book and doing stuff around the house, and we had some errands we wanted to run, but we had no intention of going to New York City. And you guys are on Long Island, like driving into New York City is like a project. You can get there in 30 minutes or it can take you 3 hours. And we always Uber in because it's easier. So I texted Jeff and I was like, baby, Chanel just got the bag I wanted in. And he's like, all right, we'll have them ship it. And I was like, well, they don't ship it because it's a new collection. So we have to go in. So do you mind if we, go into the city? And so he's such a trooper. And he's like, yeah, of course we'll go into the city. And he was actually looking for like plays that maybe we could see that night, but it just didn't work out that way. So we went to New York City. I took some video footage for you just to experience kind of what it was like. It was so fun. And, besides the bag, which I'll show you and I got, which is actually behind me, but besides that, what I loved about it is that it was a new experience for me. So I'm from the beauty industry as far as fashion and pocketbooks and collections and new releases. I really have never been very well versed in that. I don't really know what that looks like. But now with this whole new Chanel thing, I kind of learned a lot about it. And so I felt like it was a really good new experience to have. and to, you know, have a date where, you know, new collection was going to come in, want to get there, want to see if they had the one I wanted, and then, you know, the whole process of having the sales advisor who was super cool, and just that whole bit. And New York City, I mean, come on, New York City's so cool, and it was cool. So I got video footage for you. I wanted you to kind of see the Chanel boutique inside. It's so beautiful. It's like everyone vomited pink. It was like I was in my glory. It was just pink all over. And then also green. Oddly enough, green is a really big color now. And so there was lots of green Chanel bags, which I thought that was kind of cool if you love green. So this is the video. I'm going to show it to you now. And then you kind of just see like kind of what we went through for the day. I did go to the Chanel 57th boutique first, and then Jeff and I actually took a walk to Bergdorf Goodman, and because they also have Chanel there too. They have a Chanel boutique as well. So I wanted to check out their inventory. I went there too. They didn't really have as much pink as the boutique did, but when we were there, we actually went to the lunch. We went to have lunch at the cafe at Bergdorf Goodman. And guys, I have to say, like when we go to New York City and we go to eat, we'll typically, you know, like Google a really good restaurant and try to find a really cool restaurant. I typically will never eat in a department store. And when I worked in cosmetics and I would go to Bloomingdale's 59th Street or Macy's Herald Square, of course I would eat at the cafe for lunch and stuff like that, or for like, you know, work meetings. But at Bergdorf, I really never ate at the cafe. So because it was so easy, and plus we wanted to get an Uber back, we didn't want to get caught in traffic, we ate at Bergdorf Goodman for lunch. And I have to tell you guys, it was so good. Like the food was really, really good. So if you're ever in New York City and you're shopping there or you're shopping in that area, I forget where it is. I think it's like 59th and 5th maybe, somewhere over there. If you want to check it out, it's so good. And so I actually have pictures, which I'm going to include. We got like these amazing truffle scallops. We got lobster bisque soup, which was amazing. I had wine, of course, to celebrate my Chanel bag. And then also we had a dessert. It was called the BG dessert for Bergdorf Goodman. I think that's the restaurant name, BJ. BG. Yeah, BG. Oh, not BJ. BG. Anyway, so check it out if you're in the area. You'll really, really enjoy it. But anyway, check out my video and then I'm going to show you my bag. So guys, that was the tour, and now this is my bag. You ready? This is for the reveal. Although it's really not that much of a reveal because it's right behind me. Guys, look at this. Is this not beautiful? I love it. It's the Coco Chanel. No, it's the Coco handle, and the color, ironically, it's actually listed as lilac. But what I love about the color, and I hope you could see it, it's like a pinky, purpley, like cotton candy, bubble gummy. I love it pink. So anyway, this is what, and it comes with a cool strap. And what I love about it, because like I said, I never use a strap. This strap comes off, which is so cool. Ah, there you go. That we can take it off, which I'll probably totally take it off. Anyway, guys, so I'm so excited, just sharing my lovely, what I like to spend money on, pocketbooks. And again, just knowing whatever you love to spend money on is cool too. So guys, that's it. That's what my update has been. Nallie's birthday. Yay! Happy birthday, Nat, again. And my new Chanel bag, which I'm excited about. So I'm excited. I got a really good question for today's show. I don't want to spoil it, so just keep staying tuned. And that's it, guys. So I hope you have a great week. It's getting a little chilly on Long Island, right? I think we had a little bit of snow, like a little bit. But pretty much the weather's been pretty good. Like today is actually really sunny, so I'm excited about that. But anyway, guys, I love you. Thanks so much for tuning in, and stay tuned for the Q&A of the week. Hey guys, so we're back, and today's question is actually a really good question. It came through the website startlovinglife.com, which is my website. And it's a good question. And basically, just so you know, if you have any information, if you want any advice, if you have a burning, deep desire question about life, and you want to submit it for a possible show to be about your question, all you need to do is go to startlovinglife.com and submit your question through my website. And then I might pick your question and answer it. So this is a really good one. This is from Maggie from Centerport, which is actually kind of by me. I'm in Woodbury. So Maggie, we're going to help you out here, and I hope you provided enough information that I could give you the best advice possible, the Start Loving Life advice. And just if you don't know me, you might be watching my show for the first time. My name is Connie Henriquez Kimmel. I'm a life coach for teens and adults, and I teach both how to start living life in as little as 30 days. Now, to define what start living life is, I teach you to be happier, more confident, and in love with life in as little as 30 days. Now, you might be saying, Con, 30 days. How can I love life in 30 days? Well, it's actually very simple. The only reason why you're not loving life is because you've practiced a habit of negative thinking about yourself. We're all guilty of it. We've all done it. We all do it. And it's not even our fault. We've been raised, trained, and conditioned to be hard on ourselves, to not like ourselves, to defeat ourselves in our own mind. And I can go on and on and on, but that's in my book in the next couple of months that you could read. So I'll have all that information. But anyway, so when I work with people, they can start to feel better in as little as 30 days. Because what I do is I teach you how to replace your old way of thinking with a new positive way of thinking. And it's as simple as that. So if you have anxiety, depression, any of that stuff, panic attacks, stressed out, I'm going to tell you right now, it's a simple fix. We teach you how to change your mindset because that's the freaking powerful thing. You don't realize how powerful your mind is. I teach you how to change your mindset to start feeling better about yourself and start loving yourself. As cheesy and simple as it sounds, it is the answer. So I teach you how to start loving yourself. And when you do, your whole world changes. Your whole life changes. Take it from me. I'm living proof. So back to my Q&A. Maggie from Centerport. Hey, I'm saying, hey, Maggie. Hey, Con. Hey, Con. Hey, Con. Hey, Con. I'm 62 years old. I've been married for a very long time, and I'm extremely unhappy. Ugh. Oh, here's Pumpkin. He's trying to get on my arm here. Pumpkin, my chihuahua. I would show him, but it would totally mess this up. Okay, so I have 2 adult grown kids, 27 and 25, so they're not an issue, but I really want to leave my marriage, and I'm not sure what to do. I feel trapped and overwhelmed. What do you recommend, or how can you help me? Okay, so Maggie in Centerport. So Maggie, even though your situation sounds like, it sounds like you're in a really stuck, hard place. I don't even know if that just made sense. But it sounds like you're between a rock and a hard place. Is that the thing? Anyway, whatever it is, it sounds like it's a lot more difficult than it is. And I'm going to explain to you why, and this is why it's so important. When you're in a situation, and it could be any situation, for Maggie, it's her marriage, but it could be a job, a crappy job. It could be anything. Any situation that you are in, if you feel stuck in it, what happens is you feel trapped and you don't feel motivated to really find the options that are available to you. So I'm going to give you an example. So if you're in a situation and you're feeling down about the situation, it's really hard to make any permanent good decisions as a result or change. That's actually a better way to say it. So just erase what I just said. I could edit it right now, but why bother? So you have to be in the right headspace to make smart decisions. So let me give you an example. As I put my, there we go. As I shut the mute off. So if you're in a marriage and you're unhappy, The one thing I do not want you to do is I don't want you to react. So let's say, Maggie, you want to leave the relationship. The one thing I definitely do not want you to do is I don't want you to one day have a big fight with your husband, storm off, and then leave the relationship that way. And I'm going to tell you why. Because what happens is I want you to create your next step, not react and then have a next step. So I want you to get really, really secure within yourself and your decision to leave if that is what you desire. Now, I will tell you, I'm going to tell you exactly what you can do to help this situation up here. So the information and advice I'm going to give to you now is going to be about not taking any action. Actually, no physical action, okay? Anything we're going to do for the sake of the show and the sake of you feeling better about this situation and coming up with a better solution as far as whatever that's going to look like, we're going to work up here because that's what you have to do. We don't want to react to life. We want to create life. So, guys, if you never watch my show again, remember that. Don't react, create, because when you're reacting to life's circumstances. I never want you to react. I want you to create your life circumstances so you know exactly what's going to happen and how you're going to feel when you're there. Make sense? Okay. So, Maggie, what I want you to do is, without physically leaving the relationship, I want you to mentally leave the relationship in a way that you are going to empower yourself with knowledge. So, that means I want you to take a visualization, a dream, start thinking about how you ideally want your life to be, okay? Now you may be saying, well, Con, it doesn't matter because I have this I have to worry about, this. I don't care about that. We're going to play pretend right now, right? So we're going to play pretend. In a perfect case scenario, what would you leaving the relationship look like? And I'm going to tell you what it is because I want to help you. And again, what you're doing is you're not taking any physical action, but what you're going to do is you're going to take a pad, by yourself, obviously, a pad and a pen, and you're going to start writing this stuff down. So the first thing is you want to empower yourself with knowledge, which means your life as it is with your husband. Who pays your bills? Do you have a mortgage? How much is on the mortgage? How much is your house worth? How much money you guys have in the bank? And as a lady, if you don't know this, and you're watching this, I'm going to tell you right now, you need to know this. And I see this because so many times women rely on the man to do the bills, to know the bills, to know, no, knowledge is power. I want you to realize that. You need to know how your lifestyle functions. You need to know how much you guys make together, how much you guys spending, what's in your bank accounts, what investments do you have? How much your house is worth? Do you have money? How much is on your mortgage? Do you have a mortgage? How much are your taxes? Empower yourself. And if you don't know this, I'm going to give you a nice little start loving life smack. Get to know this information. Never, ever, ever rely on anyone to live your life, run your life, even your husband. You need to know. You need to know together, but you as a woman, you need to know. So get on that. So Maggie, make sure you know all that stuff because that way it'll allow you to make a smarter decision. So for example, let's say you have a house and let's say your house has, let's say, no mortgage on it. Great, good for you. And you should know that, look it up, whatever. But then you have to think, hey, what is my house worth? And so what do? You go online, look at the comps, see what the houses in your area are selling for. Now, you're not selling your house, but I'm going to explain by the end why I'm having you do these exercises. So see what your house is worth. Let's say your house is worth $700,000. Okay, $700,000, you have no mortgage. If you were going to split everything in half, and in a perfect case scenario, you and your husband are going to leave on a friendly basis. And again, you might be like, it's not going to happen, but again, this is pretend. All right, so if you have a $700,000 house and you split it into two, what does that look like? Okay, so now you have now you have that money, right? He has this money, you have this money. Okay, so with that, what ideally do you want to do with that money? What ideally can you afford with that money? So for example, you may say, hey Con, with that money, I don't know if I want to invest it in buying another house. I don't know if I have enough down payment to buy another house for myself. And I say, great, then what do you want to do? Maybe you want to rent an apartment. So what do? Go online and look what towns you want to live in. Look in the towns, look at what you can afford. Maybe the town you want to live in is a little too high price for you at this point. That's okay. Find another town. So you want to say, okay, if I'm moving out, and again, you're not moving anything. This is all mental. So I'm like spewing over my words here. So you're going to find an apartment. You're going to find what you could afford, okay? Then you want to find out, like, the living situation. Like in a perfect case scenario, what does it happen? What happens with our insurance, our health insurance, blah, blah, blah. So what you want to do is you want to come up with a plan on how you both leave the relationship in the most loving way. Now, why is this important? Because you could be like, Con, you can give me 20 reasons why you can't do this, but I'm going to tell you why. Once you start to open your mind up, you start to be open to future options. So for example, you go from feeling trapped because you think your whole world is reliant on this guy, and maybe it is. And that's another video, which is something I teach totally to be against. But if you're in that situation, you're in that situation. No big deal. But so if you're in that situation and you feel stuck and overwhelmed and trapped, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to make any movement. You're going to continue to be unhappy, and you're not going to make any positive changes. But once you mentally start arming yourself with knowledge about your life and coming up with different scenarios, positive scenarios, not negative scenarios, because that's super easy to do too, but positive scenarios on best case scenario. That's what you need to do, because once you start to understand, like, wow, the house is worth this much, and if I was able to get this and he was able to get this, and our bills would look like this, like, and then I would be able to afford this. And this is the deal too. You might say to me, Con, well, I live in a big, beautiful house. I don't want to live in an apartment. And you know what I say to you? Really, how much is your happiness worth? Is your happiness worth risking for a big, beautiful house with you being miserable, or you sucking it up, choosing you and your happiness, you figuring out a way to leave the relationship in the best way possible, and you sucking it up in an apartment for a couple months or a couple years? Well, I can tell you right now, option 2 is the most ideal option, because again, your happiness is the most important thing. So that's why I want you to start considering options. And again, you're not going to do anything. And I'll tell you, by doing this and doing the research, and really, it's just about opening your mind up to different positive scenarios. What's going to happen is you're going to feel better. You're not going to feel trapped. You're going to feel more hopeful that there are going to be good things coming your way. And this is going to be a lot easier than you imagine. Now, does it require a little bit of effort? Hell yeah. I have some people that could sit here and be like, Connie, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And you know what I say? You're right. But that attitude, it's not going to happen. So best case scenario, you need to come up with what is the ideal plan of action, and do it from a place of love, doing it from a place of, even if you can't stand your husband and he's a big old jerk, doesn't matter. You guys were married for some reason. You spent a lot of time for some reason. And so just love that person, knowing what is the best way we can exit this relationship in the best way possible. So what's going to happen is, just by allowing these options to start freely flowing in your mind, you're going to feel a little better. You're going to start feeling hopeful. What I also say to do, this is a really good thing too, is have a date. And again, you're not going to stick with this date. It's just about allowing your mind to know and to get the universe flowing with energy about what you ideally want. So for example, we're going to just play this back one more time. So Maggie, you're going to watch this video, and what you're going to do is you're going to come up with a date that you're going to leave the house, or you guys are going to exit the relationship. Now, you don't have to stick with this date, just follow me. So in June, all right, I'm going to leave this relationship in June. So if I was going to leave this relationship in June, what does that look like? First of all, I need to figure out where I'm living. I need to figure out if I'm going to sell this house. I need to figure out, I just had a good one. To sell this house, what do I need to do? Do I need to declutter? Start decluttering now. Do I need to revamp the house, kind of organize it a little bit, maybe update some stuff that's kind of old, like simple paint, like maybe I should paint some rooms, maybe I should get rid of some furniture, maybe I should update some hardware, simple things that you can get the most money for your house. Now, that doesn't even mean you need to sell your house, but what happens is, by then mentally preparing yourself and then being inspired to the action to get your house ready, one of two things happens. A, your house looks amazing, and in a couple months you feel great. And B, you sell the house and your house is already ready to be sold. But by having a date in your mind, what happens is it starts to give you hope that by June, it gives you a plan to stick with. Well, what do I need to do to be ready by June? And I will tell you, if you do this, and again, all you're doing is doing research. You're not doing anything more than research. That is it. A research and a plan. And it's a pretend plan because you may not even do the plan. But what it does is it allows you to free up here and give you hope. At the end, what will happen is, I see this a million times, one of two things happens. You feel so much better because you have a plan, you have something to look forward for the future, you're working towards something. One of two things happens. A, you're able to exit the relationship in the nicest way possible, and that will come to you as you move forward during this process. Or B, you feel so good, you realize it wasn't your partner who was not the right partner, it was you not being the right partner to you and being down on yourself, not feeling good about yourself, and then using your partner to blame because of you. And when you realize that, because you start to feel better, because you feel better about your future and you're excited, guess what happens? Sometimes it rekindles your relationship. So look at the end of June, maybe you have a better relationship with your husband. Your house is all going to be decked out because you decluttered it and updated it, which is something you should have done anyway. And you're more knowledgeable about your life and about your lifestyle and what you can afford and how much money you have and what investments you have. Like, hello, that's a big bonus. But if you're like, Con, no, I totally want out of this relationship, well, then the other bonuses too. You're going to do it in a place where you're creating your life plan, not reacting. And that's the most important thing. Research, research, research. And again, you don't have to take any action. It's all mental action. And I promise you, once you start to look into this stuff, it's common sense. Once you start to look into this stuff, find out where you'd go. And, you're going to just feel better. And then this is what I say all the time because people say, well, then what happens? Then what happens? Well, we don't know what's going to happen yet. You need to start taking the steps towards it, and each step will lead to the next. So that's when you got to trust, okay? That's when you got to trust, be hopeful, be excited, because if this is something you want to do, then this will be good for both of you. Even if the other person doesn't feel like it's the right thing or whatever the case may be, if you've gotten to this point and you're like, Con, I know I'm donezo, then that's fine. You have to choose your happiness. And again, I'm not a fan of marriage or divorce. I'm a fan of your happiness, whatever that looks like to you. So Maggie, I hope I helped you. Thanks so much for sending your question. Again, if you have any questions that you want to submit, anything, just go to startlovinglife.com and I might choose your question for the next show. So guys, have a great, great week, and I will see you next week.